Hi, everybody. Happy Easter. Today's notes are on the features of the femur, in addition to the overview of the leg. We're almost done with appendicular skeleton, and the plan looks pretty normal for the end of a unit. We have tibia, fibula, ankle, and foot left. You'll have a day to do your worksheet. It will be due the next day. Go over the questions and take the test. I still think it'll fit into 3 days. I think I can still bounce the reviews back, post my answers. You turn them in, I send them out the next day. We go over at office hours for any questions. I'll post the test structure. It looks like it's going to be multiple choice and available through Google Classroom, because a lot of times, even with the word bank, multiple choice questions will work the same way. 4 related words for a question is going to be, I think, just as challenging as the industrial size word bank. So I'm just going to take the test I was planning on giving, go multiple choice with it. Your review worksheet is the same review worksheet, and the content on the test is going to be the same content. So we're looking at the same plan into next week as it normally would be for an exam week. The next body system we're going to look at is the muscular system, and I've heard this is the toughest one. So we're ready. Overview of the leg from me and the bun. The dog is asleep, or I would have put bunny ears on her and invited her instead. Bones of the leg are similar to bones of the arm. Femur is your large thigh bone, largest bone in the body. That's one of those fun facts from anatomy you ought to know. When you're looking at tibia and fibula in the lower leg, the structures are pretty comparable to ulna and radius. Tibia is the dominant bone. It forms the knee, it's the larger bone, and it's your shin bone. If I kick you in the shins, I'm kicking you in the tibia. The fibula is small, it's lateral, it's to the outside, it's much thinner than the fibula, and where it does contribute to the ankle, it stops short of the knee, just like the radius does in the arm. It nestles below the top of the tibia, like the radius does to the ulna. We've got a bonus feature in the leg, where your olecranon process serves to cover your elbow. You have a patella, a kneecap, the sesamoid bone that covers the front part of where the femur meets the tibia. Your tarsals are 8 bones of your ankle. They're not arranged anywhere near as neatly as the carpals in your wrist, but they're still a gliding joint. And we have 2 larger ones that make up your ankle and heel that we'll talk in more detail about. Metatarsals along the foot and phalanges making up your toes, just like metacarpals and phalanges do in your hand. Scrolling down for me. Turning page for you. Features of the femur. Really similar to features of the humerus. You've got a head, the rounded proximal end. Like I talked about the acetabulum last time being a deeper hip socket than the glenoid of the shoulder is. The fact that your acetabulum fits the head of the femur. If you look at the structure of both the head and the neck, you'll see that they're suited for that deeper socket. The head is on a much longer neck. The neck on the humerus was a little line. The femur has a neck, an actual region, because of the depth of your hip socket. If you look at the trochanters in that picture too, the giant bumps on the lateral femur, you had tubercles on your shoulders. Tubercles are little tater bumpies. They're small. The muscles of your shoulder are small compared to the muscles of your hips. We talked about that with the pelvis and its size as compared to the pectoral girdle. So these trochanters are big. They're like massive. If you think of the muscles of the gluteal region, your butt muscles, they're the strongest muscles, I believe, in the body in terms of a group, and really need this strong point of attachment, like I talked about the obturator foramen on the pelvis. Your hip is held in place by all of these muscles, but also there's another neat little trick. In the joint between the socket and the ball is a ligament that attaches from the inside of the acetabulum to the tip of the head of the femur. And if you look at a femur with the ligament taken off, the femur that's in my classroom, maybe the groundhog femur that I found in a sand trap, it's just the top, it's just the head, a little bit of the neck, has the fovea capitis really visible. It's a little dent. It doesn't look like much, especially if you're not looking for it, but it's a little pit in the head of the femur where a ligament attaches the head of the femur to the socket. So you've got like an attachment inside, as well as all the ligaments outside, the Y ligament, which goes around that joint, and the muscles of your hip. So you've got a lot of business holding that hip on. Fovea is pit, capitis, we keep doing capitis. Head, it's a pit on the head of the femur. We've got both condyles and epicondyles here. Condyles form joints. Epicondyles are processes that are for muscle attachment. So the condyles of your femur do what your capitulum and trochlea do at your arm. They articulate with the bone below, in this case the tibia, but you don't have that little pulley thing. That little capitulum where you, nope, no wrench. The femur and tibia work together by sitting on top of each other. The femur sits on the tibia. There is no wrench-like opening at the knee. Another need for your kneecap, where you don't need an elbow cap. So the condyles, medial and lateral, two of them, just sort of sit on the top of the tibia. The flat part, we talked a little bit about tibial plateau before. They sit right on there. Epicondyles are out to the side. They're for muscle attachment. They sort of serve to stabilize the joint through muscle attachment and just making a wider bottom. You can see the epicondyle and condyle on your picture, and they are not, they're nothing that exciting compared to the capitulum and trochlea and the, ooh, elbow. Femur's just like, I sit on the tibia. I hinge. Good. So in terms of that, you're not looking at too much going on. It's a functional joint, but your knee is a little bit different from your elbow with that. Patellar surface, pretty easy. It's a flat surface in the front against which your patella is held. Remember, your patella is a sesamoid bone. That means it's completely encased in a tendon. On the next page is bonus content. I didn't put this in the class packet, but it was pretty cool as I found things that had to do with the knee. I put this in. It's nothing you'll be tested on, but I know that we talk a lot in school, in sports, about ACL injuries. I wanted to put the picture of knee with ligaments up because it's a little different from muscle, muscle, muscle. Remember, ligaments are part of the skeletal system. They are holding your joints together. You can see in this picture, and I've pointed it out all below, I wanted this picture to show how the femur sat on the tibia. And when I started looking, I realized it was showing anterior cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament, and your collateral ligaments, which contribute to the structure of the knee. I said, there's no olecranon process. There's no cool wrench-like opening. Your knee relies more on the tendons and ligaments that go around it to stabilize it, and there are 4 of your main ligaments and a little information on them. Notice again, the fibula doesn't make it up to the tibia. It's held in place by a ligament. Ligaments are a big deal here. It's a ligament that holds your radius on also and lets it rotate. No quiz questions from this knee page, just something I thought was interesting as I was looking for a picture that better showed where the patella sits and how your femur sits on your tibia. So I guess that's it for the week. Me and Bunny say Happy Easter, and I will see you probably without Bunny on Monday. Have a good one.